A scientist to me just looks like someone that has like a thirst for knowledge, someone that really wants to try to provide some kind of impact to the people that they work with, the people that they live with, the people in their community. Provide results that are really going to move humanity forward. In high school, I did decently well in class. I liked learning new things as long as it was interesting, and I thought science was interesting, but I didn't really go out of my way to pursue any kind of special career path or anything like that. I was just kind of figuring it out. When I was getting ready to finish high school, I had kind of thought about going into the music scene. So I was going to go to college for some audio engineering, some sound design, and kind of get into the scene that way. And I spent about a year doing that. Realized that it really didn't excite me like I thought it would. And so just kind of decided it'd be a whole lot cheaper to not continue paying for a college tuition to figure out what I did want to do. Kind of working day to day. I worked for a retail toy store. The furniture company that I was working for at the time kind of went through some budget cuts. I had my hours cut back, so I wasn't making quite as much. And I kind of realized something's got to change. This can't be what life looks like. About the time I'd gotten my hours cut back at the furniture job, I was talking to a buddy of mine, and his dad had mentioned a contract opportunity with a biotech company and asked if his son had been interested in it. And his son wasn't, but he had kind of directed me to him. And this kind of talked a little bit more about what the position entailed, and it sounded like a really neat opportunity to kind of get into a more science role that I had been interested in when I was in high school. I was absolutely nervous about the opportunity, especially going into the interview, because I had absolutely no idea what to expect. I really had a high school diploma and 2 semesters of gen eds at college. Before, I'd never worked with anything like that. The only preparation I really had was kind of speaking with my friend's dad, who knew a little bit more about it, so that I wasn't completely blindsided going into it. I knew that they made medicine. That's pretty much all I knew about biotech at this point in time. I definitely made sure that they knew I had a willingness to learn. I've always been of the mind that if you are presented with an opportunity, you can always figure it out later. I'm a firm believer that there isn't much that you can't learn on the job. The first few weeks were a very steep learning curve after starting the position. At this point in time, I was very curious to learn more about the process. I think part of it was probably they showed me the facility and I'm like, whoa, look at all this shiny new stuff that I don't know anything about. Let's start learning more about it. It was probably about 6 months before I started feeling really confident in my abilities. Working on vaccines during the COVID pandemic, definitely it helped me understand just how important some vaccines can be and how big of an impact it can really make on the world, having the vaccine for some kind of illness versus not having access to something that could potentially help someone not get sick or not have as severe of a reaction to an illness. I feel almost important. Yeah, this career in biotech really gives me a sense of pride and a lot of job satisfaction and just fulfillment that I really didn't receive in any other jobs that I've ever worked in. If I could talk to my younger self, I would tell him that sometimes you're gonna be nervous or you're gonna be scared about what comes next if you say yes before you're ready. But sometimes you can just do things while you're scared, and it'll work out and you'll be a whole lot better off for it. I'm Jake Heitman, and I am a technical expert.